hold on, wait a second. So you're telling me that Taylor and Clark and Ace and Shelly lost their possible spot in the Final Four only for Chris to turn around and tell Huda that his cookie jar is closed and for them to break up on their final date? Say it ain't so. Let's talk about it.
Roxiie says we're gonna talk about it.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Roxie with Roxiie Says, and we're going to talk about it today. We are reviewing Love Island USA Season 7, Episodes 34, as well as the finale. Child, so much happened. So let's get right into it. But before we get started, I just have to thank you all so much for an absolutely amazing season. I have never, ever, ever done a show with this many episodes. And baby, it was hard. It was hard, but I'm so thankful that I did. And y'all have shown up and shown so much love and support. And I really want to thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. I could not have imagined the growth that my channel would have gotten from this channel. So once again, thank you so much. If you've been here for my Love is Blind reviews, then you know that I do this at the end of every season, but I felt the need to do it now for this show as well. So I just want to give everyone some words of encouragement. If you do have a dream or a goal that you are working towards, start now. Don't wait. It's not too late to get started. The year isn't over. Life isn't over. Okay. If you want to make YouTube videos, you don't need the best camera. You don't need the best light or whatnot. Every single video that y'all have watched on my channel has been filmed on an old iPhone. Okay. Every single video, this video on an iPhone. Use what you have right now and get started and grow from there. All right. Everyone won't like you. Everyone won't like your content, but your tribe will find you. So get started. I believe in you. All right. So let's get into this review. I'm just happy that I was able to make it through that little speech without crying, because usually I'd be tearing up. So anyway, let's start this review. So I'm just going to touch on the things that stood out to me in episode 34, couple by couple. Let's run through it because we all seen it. All right. So fun fact about me, I'm the type who cries every time I see one of those reunion videos where like a soldier is coming home, or like family who you haven't seen in a long time. And don't let it be a soldier coming home or coming to their kid's school or showing up at a graduation when their kid thought that they wouldn't be there. Baby, I'll be out of it. So this episode really had me in my feelings. So I absolutely loved seeing the Islanders reunite with their families, but we got to call a spade a spade. Some of these family members were straight up lying. Okay, we know this, right? They didn't want to ruin their kids' chances of winning the money, so they were on their best behavior, but it was very apparent. Anyway, let's start with Amaya and Brian. Their family meetup was really cute. Their family said that they had to cover their eyes during the hideaway scene. They didn't want to see any toes curling, all right? So Amaya's mom loved the way that Brian stood up for her and spoke up for the Latino community and the culture, and she appreciates that he accepts Amaya for exactly who she is. Brian's family loves that Amaya is so real and raw with her emotions, and we see that it's very important to Amaya that she makes her parents proud. She kept asking her mom over and over, "Are you proud? Is daddy proud?" I loved that. And we see when Brian's dad told him that his mom was proud of him and wished that she could be there, he started tearing up. So baby, so did I. So did I. He completely broke down when they played that video message from his mom. It was beautiful. And these two families, in my opinion, definitely look like they will have a time together during the holidays, like the absolutely best time. Loved that meeting. So next up, we have Iris and Pepe. So Iris was nervous because she said that her mom was very picky. Remember, she told us that. Who was she speaking to? Pepe? Who the hell was Iris with before Pepe? Oh my gosh, who was Iris with before? I can't remember. I can't remember. Oh, that's bad. Anyway, we see Iris's mom and sister meeting Pepe's mom and dad. And Pepe's parents say that they like Iris a lot. Pepe also says that since Iris lives really close to his grandpa, they will get to see each other very often. And Iris's sister admits that she was really sad about TJ. She was really sad. I totally forgot about that, man. She was really sad about TJ, but she really likes Pepe. Iris's mom says, "You know I'm picky, but I just want you to be happy." Child, her mom wasn't trying to give her the real tea. These parents were not being honest, but I 100% understand. I get it, okay? But Iris's mom says that Iris has grown so much from this experience, and they take pictures, and that's that. Overall, it was a cute meeting. We'll see what happens with those two beyond the villa. All right, so next up, we got Ace and Shelly. We saw them kissing in the hideaway, and that was it. And like I said before, I love that for them, especially for Shelly. We did get a shot of them making out in the bed, but Shelly's clothes were on. So I was like, yeah, I don't think that they did anything, but we later see Ace confirm that he did not fold in the hideaway with Shelly, period. So we later see Ace's brother and sister and Shelly's mom and dad. They show up and they get a warm welcome from the entire villa. Like everyone was so excited to meet this set of parents. And the whole family is Team Shalace all the way, all the way. And one thing that the family said really stood out to them was that even when Ace and Shelly had disagreements, they always kept it calm, they always kept it cute and respectful, and no one raised their voices. I said period, because they have home training, okay? They have home training. So Shelly's mom just loves how happy Shelly is with Ace. And Shelly's dad was looking like, look, I don't have anything good to say, so I'm not going to say anything. He was very quiet during this entire meetup, all right? So Ace tells his family that even though America's vote messed with them mentally, Shelly kept him calm throughout the entire process, and he really sees a future with her, so much so that she is invited to their family cookout. Child, when they played the voice message from Ace's mom and he broke down, again, I lost it, okay? So Shelly got beautiful letters from her siblings, and we find out that her name is actually Michelle. I didn't know that at all. Anywho, they take their pictures in the photo booth, and it's a wrap. I see their families getting along very well, too. Shelly's dad just needs to warm up to Ace a little bit, but I feel like everything will be great between these two families. So next up is Huda and Chris. Chris was super nervous for his mom and sister to meet Huda because he says that they tell it like it is. Chris saying that, in my opinion, shows that he knows that Huda acted a whole fool up and through this season, and he doesn't know what his mom is going to say about it, okay? But he also says that he feels like it's way too soon to introduce the family to each other when they're still getting to know one another, right? And at this point, Chris and Huda, they didn't even seem to be talking. It's not like they were comforting each other, like, oh, don't worry, it's gonna go well. They were like on opposite sides of the couch, all right? So we see Huda's older sisters come, and Chris's mom and sister show up. And baby, the way that Chris broke down in his mama's arms, child, this episode had me torn up, all right? So Huda was really happy to see her family as well. They all gave each other a warm welcome. And then when they broke apart, Chris's family says that they have no notes and they absolutely love everything that he's doing. And baby, when his sister said, oh, we saw that you folded, I screamed. I would have been so embarrassed. But anyway, Chris's mom and sister feel that Chris brings out the good side of Huda, and she has grown. And I saw online that apparently Chris's mom and sister didn't get to see any footage after the little folding incident. So they didn't get to see how she acted with him, okay? I wonder why production made sure not to show them that. I would have loved to hear Chris's mom and sister's opinion on Huda's behavior, but whatever. So Huda's family is telling her that she's learned so much and she's grown as well. And they said that she went head over heels with Jeremiah and she moved a bit too quick, and he brought out her toxic side, as if these two sisters don't know good and well that Huda's toxic side has been in existence way before they've even heard the name Jeremiah Brown. Like, let's not do that, okay? So they play a super sweet video from Huda's daughter. Oh, it was so beautiful. And Huda gets emotional, of course. And the meeting does go well overall. It was really sweet, but we all know that Chris's mom and sis were lying, right? We know that, right? Even if they didn't see the footage from after when Chris and Huda folded, did they see the Jeremiah footage? Because if they seen that, then they really are biting their tongues. They're like, look, we don't want to jeopardize Chris's chances of winning this 100K or even being with Huda, even if it's just for optics, because we are tired of him sleeping on our couch when he comes back into the country from these games, okay? They're like, you either need the 100K so you can get your own place or shack up with Huda, because we're sick of you, Chris, all right? They made sure that they kept it very cute for this meeting. And later in this episode, when Chris is asked what were his highs from this experience, he listed like the basketball game and meeting the guys. He did not say anything about Huda being the highlight of this experience. And rightfully so, because those two are a mess together. So last but not least, we are with Nick and Alandria. And Nick says that he was very nervous to meet Alandria's people as well. But Nick says that his mom is so sweet, he can bring home anyone and she'll absolutely love her. And that is what it gives as well. You can tell that Nick's mom just wants him to be with somebody, all right? So we see Alandria's mom and Nick's mom and sister show up. Baby, did y'all see Alandria's mama? Did you see Alandria's mama? In my notes, I wrote stacked. That's what I wrote, stacked. Just fine. The lady is fine. And I know that there's a man in Texas who don't play about her. There's gotta be, okay? She don't play no games, and I see where Alandria gets it from. So Nick's mom loves her some Alandria, and Alandria's mom tells her that her dad is super proud of her and she has been serving. I loved everything about Alandria's interaction with her mother. I love their banter. I love the way they talk and laugh. And it reminded me of how my mom and I speak with each other as well. So Alandria's mom tells her that they saw how much Nick liked her from the very beginning. And Alandria says that she really likes Nick too. We see Nick's mom scolding him for getting it on in public. She was like, Nicholas, Nicholas, how could you? So Nick's dad is proud of him as well, even though he isn't there. We're going to talk about him in the finale episode. And Nick's mom says that she can definitely see Alandria in the family. This meeting was super cute. You can tell that both families are really excited for these two to be together. At least that's how they present it, okay? But I do wish that we got more of the conversation with the families together, with Alandria's mom as well as Nick's mom and sister together. I would have liked to see more of that. But anyway, baby, when they revealed, right, at the end of episode 34, that it would be Ace and Shelly going home, I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed, especially if you watched my video before this. You already know how I felt. Because although I didn't think that they would win, they definitely should not have gone home before no damn Chris and Huda, and definitely not before no damn Iris and Pepe. Not at all, okay? So I did cast my vote. I was so irritated. I did cast my vote for Nick Alandria, even though I still don't see it on Alandria's end. And even after the finale, I still have my thoughts. We'll talk about that in a little bit. They still got my vote because ain't no way in the world that I want Huda and Chris to win this at all. Not at all right? And I know that whether or not Amaya wins this show or not, she is going to be more than okay. More than okay. Brands are already beating her door down. So Amaya really don't have to win this. She gonna be good, okay? Love Amaya Papaya down, but she gonna be just fine. She's gonna be just fine. And that was pretty much episode 34. So now we are on to the finale, all right? So we see the final four. They're celebrating and everyone goes on their final dates in this episode, child. So we're gonna run through this too, couple by couple. Let's start off with Iris and Pepe. So these two were on their date and they were really shocked that they were even in the final four, child. So are we. So is the whole of America. I don't know how y'all got there. How? Someone needs to explain this, okay? But they do spend most of this episode being their usual selves, talking about how crazy it is that they ended up together, making out some more. And when they do go on their little snorkeling date, they both say that they're so excited to finally have some time out of the villa. And when they're finished on their date, they pop some champagne on the boat. They talk about how much they like each other and how much they're looking forward to life when they leave here. And they make out some more, child. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for these two. So next up, we have Nick Alandria. And Nick and Alandria share a really, really passionate and sexy kiss. And Nick tells Alandria that he was always interested in her, but the villa turned him in another direction. Now, I know that it's been said that Taylor is the one who stopped Nick from pursuing Alandria. And let me say this as nicely as I possibly can. I don't know any man, personally, I don't know any man who Taylor could prevent from doing anything. I don't know any, Taylor or Ace for that matter. And I also feel like if Taylor can stop any man from doing something, that man never really wanted to do it. I'm not saying that Nick never liked Alandria. And I'm not saying that Nick doesn't like Alandria at all. Okay, I have to make that disclaimer because I do think that Nick actually likes Alandria. And I do think that he's attracted to her. However, did he like Alandria more than Belle Dashe? Did he like Alandria more than Sierra? We don't know. Because you would have to think, right? Can you imagine Taylor stopping Pepe from pursuing any of the blondes in that villa? Do you think that Taylor could have said anything to, like, all jokes aside, do you think that Taylor could have said anything to Pepe to stop him from going after one of those blondes in the villa? Pepe would have whooped Taylor's ass over one of them blondes, okay? Do you hear me? That's the type of energy that you should want to be pursued with, okay? Not no, oh, my friend said, don't talk to you, so I didn't talk. No. We grown, baby. We grown, okay? But anyway, I still voted for them because as a first-time Love Island viewer, most of y'all have told me that the show has already been ruined, so it don't even matter. Okay? That's what I've been seeing in the comments. And apparently people are voting for people and not just couples, or people are voting against people. And that does sound about right. I can tell that that's what's been happening. So for me, after Ace and Shelly lost, I said, you know what? Might as well give my vote to Team Nick Alandria because I said, ain't no way Huda and Chris are winning when it's clear that they can't stand each other. All right. So we're back to the date. They share a little hug and Alandria agrees that the little love triangle that Nick was in was not something that she wanted to be a part of at the moment. So we see that they go on a little little date, and I was excited because I wanted to see how they operate outside of the villa. So Alandria looked absolutely amazing as usual, and they take a little yacht to a private island and they read some sweet messages from the viewers. And one of the messages made Alandria tear up, and she asks this question once again: has it always been there this whole time and we just didn't see it? No lie, they ask this question. Both Alandria and Nick ask some variation of this question, maybe like 4 or 5 times in this episode. Like 4 or 5 times in this episode. I'm like, who's writing these speeches? Who? Anyway, we'll get to it, all right? So we see them sit down and have a deeper conversation. And Alandria tells Nick that she has fallen in love with potential in the past, and she knows that that's what she did here too initially. So I'm really happy that she was able to realize that, and hopefully she stops doing it and she knows what she deserves in the future, all right? So Nick says that he thinks that he's been in love twice, and he's hoping that third time is a charm. They both love that their family meetups went so well, and both Nick and Alandria's moms love each other, and they're both excited to meet the rest of each other's family and friends. And we also see Nick get a very heartfelt letter from his dad wishing him and Alandria the best, and it makes him emotional because Nick says that his father is a man of very few words, so if he says something, that means that he means it. And Alandria gets a beautiful letter from her little sisters saying that they loved Nick from the very beginning, and they also tell Alandria to tell Shelly that she's gained 2 more little sisters. It was so cute. We see Alandria cry, so you know that Alandria really felt every word that her sisters wrote, because we normally do not see Alandria get emotional, all right? But it was a really cute moment. Nick tells Alandria that she's his little hard-boiled egg, hard on the outside, soft on the inside, and Alandria tells Nick that she wants to continue to support him and to have his back well into the real world, and they both say that they want to continue watering this relationship seed that they have planted, and they share another passionate kiss. Their kisses always give, okay? The kisses are always gonna give, and when they get back to the villa, they tell all of the islanders about the letters that they received and how they will continue to pursue each other outside of the villa. And Alandria tells us that knowing how much America believes in her and Nick as a couple makes her want to go 10 times harder. Love that for you, girl, and I'm wishing them both the best. So next we have Brian and Amaya. We see them getting closer. Brian is initiating more kisses, and when it's time for their date, Amaya is so excited, and she says that she feels like a Dominican Cinderella, and she says that she has finally found her perfect glass slipper. So they go through a book filled with their cute baby pictures and family pictures, and Amaya gets really emotional when she sees the picture of her with her dad and her little brother. And Amaya tells Brian that when she's with him, she only cries happy tears. I love that for her. So Brian says that his energy is up when he speaks to Amaya. This day was really cute. However, Amaya was doing majority of the talking. I feel like Amaya will say something and then Brian will just be like, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree. We've seen that a lot throughout the season with Brian and Amaya. But on this day, we see that they're both doing a lot of smiling. Amaya is doing a lot of squealing as usual. And Brian tells Amaya that he wants them to leave their exclusive and he wants them to continue building on their relationship in the outside world. Amaya agrees, and they make out, and they say a cheers to some truffle pasta that they will eat on their first date in New York City. So next up is Huda and Chris. Next up is Huda and Chris, and these two are both shocked to still be there, child. Y'all should not be there, but whatever. So Huda says that leaving her daughter and coming here was all for a reason, and Chris tells Huda that meeting her was an unexpected surprise. And at bedtime, we see everyone there having a pillow fight, and Huda storms out because Chris apparently hit her in the face with the pillow. And as she's walking out, Chris just rolls his eyes. He's like, girl, like, Chris is so sick of her. It's not even funny, but I do understand Huda needing to tape her nose because she had a nose job, right? So I guess maybe Chris hit her too hard in the face, so she had to go put some tape on her nose. All right. Anyway, when she comes back in, she taps him so that he can look up and see her nose. She's like, look, do you see? I had to put tape on my nose. Chris is like, okay. Chris don't care, girl. He really doesn't, but he does apologize to her at least. Then we see later, while everyone is sleeping, she's tapping Chris, tapping him, and he straight up ignores her until he finally tells her, hey, I'm tired. I'm trying to get some sleep. And Huda tells him, well, I need you to come cuddle with me tonight, and that's going to be a lot better than me being upset all day tomorrow. So let me get this straight, Huda. You are already pre-planning acting like a complete asshole because he won't cuddle with you tonight? Is that what you're saying? And then she has the nerve to count down like, oh, you need to cuddle me in 3, 2, 1. Can you imagine if a guy did that, right? Like if one of the girls didn't want to cuddle, because we know why Huda wants to cuddle, because it's going to lead to something else, right? That's all she wants Chris for. But can you imagine a guy doing that? A girl saying, hey, no, I don't want to cuddle. I don't want to touch right now. And he's like, 3, 2, 1. Can you imagine what types of coercion that would be labeled as? not respecting boundaries, all of the above. Just a mess, okay? So the next day, Chris tells Brian about the little shit that Huda pulled in the bed last night, and he says that he doesn't appreciate it, especially the cuddle countdown. He's not feeling it at all, and he says that she just kept poking him and poking him all night. Meanwhile, we see Huda complaining to Amaya that Chris just isn't giving her enough attention in bed, and she wants her man to be obsessed with her all the time. But you don't want PDA? You want your man to be obsessed with you all the time? No, girl. You want him to be obsessed with you when you want him to be obsessed with you. You want Chris to be obsessed with you during hunch time. That's when you want him to be obsessed with you. So Chris says, look, you're not about to get my eggplant and you don't even want to give me a kiss. Chris already peep game. He's like, oh, she want to use me for what? Okay, we gonna nip all of this. We not even gonna cuddle, baby. And rightfully so, Chris said the cookie jar is closed, okay? So we see Brian tell Chris to just hang in there. But Chris says, look, if she does the same thing during this date, I'm gonna crash out. And I've been telling y'all that Chris, Chris is very capable of a crash out. Chris is an Aries man, okay? If those cameras were not on, Chris would have crashed we ain't even get to the date yet. But if those cameras were not on, please believe me that my fellow Aries would have crashed out, okay? He sure would have, all right? So they get a text telling them about their date, and Chris gets up and he runs over to Huda. He's jumping up and down, very performative because he was just complaining about Huda to Brian. But as we know, Chris gonna do what he needs to do to move forward in this game until he just can't take it anymore, right? So while they're getting ready, we see Huda telling Alandria that she's gonna speak to Chris about her needing more from him physically. And I said, how ironic, all right? But we do see Chris telling us in his confessional that he also has some things that he wants to discuss with Huda in the most respectful way. So it's time for their date. And honestly, their date was the most beautiful and romantic in my opinion. Chris and Huda's date was so nice. Oh my gosh, it was absolutely beautiful. And we see Chris pick Huda up and carry her over to the table. Such a cute moment, and it's going to be important by the end of this date. So he tells her that he sees so much potential in their relationship. And Huda says that things are going well, but there are also some things that they need to address so that they don't develop any animosity towards each other. And I said, girl, I think it's a little too late. I think it's a little too late for that. But Huda does ask Chris to just be real with her and tell her what's on his mind. So Chris talks about not feeling heard during their kissing in public conversation. And she was about to cut him off. She was about to cut him off, and he gave her a look like, girl, you better not. You better not. So she stopped, and I was cracking up. Chris's face was like, girl, I dare you. Do not cut me off, all right? So he tells her that she was being pushy, and she caught an attitude last night when he didn't want to cuddle with her. And he had to tell her, look, when I'm finished speaking, you can respond, because she cuts him off again, child. And he also has to tell her that that little countdown that she did made him feel like a kid, and he had to remind her that he's a grown-ass man. I said, period. Remember when Huda told Jeremiah to eat all his food because he's a grown man? She just can't help herself, right? And you can see how hard it was for Huda to not cut Chris off all up and through this conversation. It's obvious that she does not do that very often or show restraint in a conversation very often. But she does tell him that she likes when her man is all over her. And she says that him not cuddling with her made her feel rejected. But Chris said, look, my own mom doesn't talk to me the way that you talk to me, so you're not going to talk to me like that either. And Huda says, look, I'm not saying that I was in the right, but we were both in the wrong. We both did something wrong. And Chris just, his face was like, his entire expression said, girl, bye. All over it. And I know in his head, he was like, damn, I should have stuck with Shelly. She was my number one pick and she didn't show me no attention. So I moved over to Huda, but I should have went harder with Shelly. You should have, Chris. And Chris clocks Huda and he's like, look at your expression. Your head is in your hand. You're sighing. It's almost like you couldn't give up less about what I'm even talking about right now. And that's why I choose my battles with you, because of how you react, and you're not giving me any reassurance on this working on the outside. And I already know what you're thinking towards me. So just tell me what you want to do. Now, let me say this. Chris thinks that he's so slick because he knows that that's what he wants to do too. They both know it, but neither of them want to be the one to say it or actually do it. So Huda says, I don't know if this is going to work out on the outside and blah, 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 blah. And Chris is like, just tell me. Just tell me what you want to do. Why don't you tell her what you want to do, Chris? Why don't you tell her what you want to do? I told y'all in my last review, Chris's communication is absolutely horrible as well. And it is clear that as annoying as Huda is, he still wants to be able to be the one to say, look, I really tried, guys. I really tried. But you know, she ended it. I had no choice. She dumped me, right? I had no say in the matter. So anyway, a lady comes out and she starts singing random AF, and her singing was honestly the equivalent to like if you're at dinner and you're having a heated conversation with someone and the waiter comes over to fill y'all's glasses with water and y'all just got to sit there and smile and say thank you before y'all could get back to y'all's heated conversation. That's what it was giving. Production, why didn't y'all tell that lady that now was not a good time? Why did y'all do that? So anyway, when she's finished, we see Chris still saying, what do you want to do? Tell me what you need to do. Make up your mind, right? And Huda finally says, I think that we should just be friends. And he's like, I already know you did. I was just waiting for you to say it. I knew that's how you felt. And he takes a sip of his little drink and Huda asks if they can still be cool. And Chris says, you know what? I'm going to have to separate myself for a little bit. And what I got from that is, look, Chris is finally free and he is taking this opportunity to run for the hills. He doesn't even want to have to pretend to be friends with you, Huda. He can't stand you, girl. And he gets up and he leaves her there crying at the table. And he says, look, I just can't take this. But then we see him come back. Maybe he had a moment of clarity. He's like, hold on, America is watching. This might be a little bit too mean to leave her here crying like this. So when Chris comes back to the table, Huda is crying and he asks her, why are you crying? And she says, well, because we just broke up. And he says, yeah, but this was your choice. This is exactly what he wanted to be able to do. Like I said before, Chris will say and do things and then act surprised by your response. Why would you even be surprised that she's crying? You've seen enough of Huda to know that that girl would be crying, okay? You know better. And I can't lie, this next little scene made me feel bad for Huda for like 1.5 seconds. 1.5 seconds. So remember how Chris carried her over when they arrived? Well, baby, when it was time to leave, Huda was like, are you gonna pick me up and carry me back over? And he put his hand out to help her walk across the little water thing. And she's like, so you're not gonna carry me? Chris said, I am not gonna carry you. Chris said, I am not gonna carry you. Huda, girl, why would you even expect him to carry you? He put his hand out so he can guide you across the little rocks or whatever so that you wouldn't slip and fall. But that wasn't even good enough. You wanted him to pick you up and carry you back over. Girl, no. Girl, no, he don't like you like that. He's not giving you that treatment. And any of the treatment that he's given you thus far has all been fake. It's all been fake, all right? So Huda has to take her heels off. We see her take another sip of that champagne and she has to walk her behind over that water thingy all by herself. And I said, damn, Chris, the Hudanators are going to eat you up. They going to eat you up. They all going to unfollow you. I can only imagine how they are flaming him in his comment section right now. So listen, these two are a mess together. And can you imagine, right? If they can't even get on the same page when it's just them, imagine how absolutely horrible it would be adding in Huda's child, adding in Huda's baby daddy, adding in their family dynamics and people having a say. Huda has sisters, Chris has sisters, child. It would never ever work. And if it did, it would be by some absolute miracle, all right? So when they get back from their date, everyone can see that it's extremely awkward. And Huda tells the ladies about their conversation and how Chris isn't as obsessed with her as she needs him to be. And she also lets the ladies know that she ended things with Chris and she's proud of herself for not yelling and cursing. And Alandria and Iris are like, good job, Huda, like she's 4 years old. Love that for her. Meanwhile, we see Chris telling the guys that Huda decided to be friends and he says that everything is cool and easy peasy and he has no hard feelings because he's already seen all of the red flags that he needs. And Chris says that he can't see himself marrying her or anything. And he also says that at this point, he doesn't give a anymore. Okay. So it is finally bedtime and we see Chris, he goes to sleep in soul ties. He doesn't even want to sleep next to Huda. And Huda tells Amaya that he's doing the most because she ended things and she doesn't care, nor does she feel bad or sad. And Chris is just being dramatic right now. So the next morning we see Huda saying that she's happy to finally be free from the shackles of a man. And when Brian asks Chris if what he had with Huda is fixable, Chris says, no. He says that shit is cooked, deep fried, all of it. He's done, all right? So we see the ladies, they get a text message saying that they're going for a little bit of rest and relaxation time. They go on a spa date and they have a beautiful day. They speak about their experience. We see Huda telling Iris that although she didn't find her person, she found friendships and lessons. Good for her. We see Alandria telling Amaya that she's nervous, but she's ready to truly show Nick how she feels. And I said, okay, good, because I would like to see it, girl. I would like to see it. I would love to see Alandria feel safe enough to knock some of those walls down and allow herself to be loved. I want to see her experience that, of course, while staying safe and protecting herself, protecting her heart. But you know what I mean. I would love to see Alandria in love in a nice, healthy relationship. All right. So, anyway, it is the moment that we have all been waiting for. We see everyone coming downstairs looking great. My favorite outfit was definitely Alandria's. I loved the gold top. Huda's dress was nice. Maya's dress was nice. Iris looked really nice too, and I liked her makeup. She looked different today. Like she had on eyeliner and stuff. We're not used to seeing her done up. But my favorite outfit of all was definitely Alandria's, all right? And the guys looked nice. My favorite guy's outfit was Pepe. He had on like the white tux. I thought that was really nice. So we do see them do a little toast for the experience. They do a little music video like they did in episode 1. And now it is time for everyone to do their declaration of love. And I said, who wrote these? Because I know y'all did not write these. All right. So anyway, we have Amaya and Brian, Iris and Pepe. They didn't say anything new, honestly. They pretty much reiterated the same stuff that they've been saying on these dates. But I was looking forward to hearing Chris and Huda's since they were already broken up, and also Nick Alandria, right? So we see Huda. She tells Chris that he helped her grow as a person and as a partner. And she thanks him for seeing her motherhood as something positive as opposed to negative. And she also says that she's learning about having a romantic connection and not just a physical. And she has also learned how to have calm communication. So Chris says that their connection means a lot to him, even though they didn't work out. And he says that he knows that she's a great mom and she's absolutely brave for leaving her daughter and coming on this show. And he wishes her the best, and they hug it out. It was cute and they kept it respectful. Love that for them. So next we see Alandria. She tells Nick that she's blessed to have met him and she can't believe that she didn't know it was him the entire time. She also says that this feels very exciting and natural, and she hopes that it can lead to something everlasting. All right. So Nick says that he actually loves that they missed all of the signs. He feels like it's part of their story. And he says that he has always been her secret admirer, and they both overcome so many great obstacles together, including being parents to Marcel. Nick also mentions how many signs they've missed, and nothing that he can write can ever convey how he truly feels about Alandria. He also apologizes for not telling her that it was him who secretly kissed her on day 2. And he says that he should have told her sooner. But of course, according to him, he couldn't do anything because Taylor, the big bad cowboy wolf, prevented him from doing so. But they do share a nice little hug. And honestly, I would love for these two to work out if it's meant to be. Maybe it'll be easier for Alandria once they aren't like around all of these cameras and all of these other people, and she can really focus on their connection. We'll see. I do wish them the best, but we'll see how things go. Okay. So next we see Ariana. She comes in looking amazing, and it is finally time to find out who the winners are. So the couple in 4th place was Iris and Pepe, and I said, better be. I was not surprised by that at all. Honestly, I think that Iris and Pepe probably came in 5th. I do think that Ace and Shelly should have been in that final 4. I think that they were in the final 4 and some things were messed with, okay? However, we see Huda and Chris. They're in 3rd place, rightfully so. Honestly, they shouldn't have even been in the final 4 because they don't even like each other. But child, if those two were to win, that would have been some bullshit. So y'all knew what to do with that, okay? And the winners of Love Island USA 2025 are Amaya and Brian. Congratulations to them. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. And Amaya is so emotional, and she tells everyone not to settle, and there will always be someone out there for you. And Brian says that he feels amazing. Brian don't say much. Brian does not say much. He'll agree with Amaya and say something very generic, but he don't say much. But congratulations to him too, okay? Everyone is super excited for them as well. But now it is time for their relationship to truly be put to the test. We see Amaya pick an envelope and Brian takes the remaining one. And it just so happens that Brian chose the envelope with the $100,000 in it. And now he has the option to keep it all for himself or to share it with Amaya, because Amaya's envelope has $0. And I said, Brian, if you are smart, you are going to split that money, because the brand deals that you two will get as a couple will far exceed the 100K. Will far exceed the 100K. And Brian says, look, it's not even a question if I was going to share this money with Amaya or not, because as his father taught him, money isn't everything. He shares the money with Amaya. Everyone celebrates. It's a beautiful, beautiful finale. Once again, congratulations to Amaya and Brian on winning Love Island Season 7, Love Island USA Season 7. And Ariana lets them know that they will all be back in New York City for the Season 7 reunion on August 25th. And I love that they're going to be in New York, my city, with all the rats and the pigeons, okay? And we might get some footage of Amaya and Brian having that little New York City truffle date. So I am excited for that. And of course, I will be reviewing the reunion. And we find out that it's going to be hosted by Ariana and Andy Cohen. And I said, yes. We know that Andy is messy. We know that Andy is used to seeing ladies go toe to toe with each other, and he is not going to hold back. He will ask all of the necessary questions, okay? And we see them end the episode with everyone jumping into the pool. Congratulations for them. So like I said before, I will be here reviewing the reunion. Tell me, who do you think will still be together by the reunion? Do you think any other couples have linked up and rekindled anything? Let me know all your predictions, but I do want to wish all of these contestants the very best. Hopefully this show has been a learning experience for everyone, but I genuinely wish them continued success and peace for their mental health as they navigate this new reality. Hopefully the weirdos stop going to their pages and leaving hate comments and doing all of that weird shit, okay? Oh, and also, y'all, I started watching Love Island season 6. So if I'm able to finish the season this week, I will be reviewing Beyond the Villa. I've been kind of busy, so we'll see, but it looks like I'll be able to review Beyond the Villa. And we have more content coming, so make sure that you're tuned in. Make sure that you're subscribed. Once again, thank you all so much for all of the love and support that y'all have shown me during this season. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You all have made this season absolutely amazing. You have made this YouTube journey absolutely amazing for me, and I'm forever grateful. I truly am. Thank you all so much. Before you leave, don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're made aware when I upload. And baby, I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye!
Roxiie says we're gonna talk about